Periwinky making an art video? Not as likely as you'd think. Okay, listen. Art block bad. But I realized that one of my stories has been changed enough to turn into an old OCs video. So I flew on the chance to make it, because my old OCs series is my favorite to do. It's just I ran out of stories. The story, it's called Revamped, which you'll figure out why it's called Revamped in a little bit. But I made this story in 2014 at a time where I was pretty much spitting out a new story every 2 weeks, and my drive for this was just, oh, I don't have a vampire story yet. I'll do that. And then I did that. So it stars Esmeralda Valkyrie, or Essie. If you watched my video where I went through my character Kat's development, I think I mentioned that I had her name Vanessa for a while, just because I wanted to nickname her Essie. I know that her name's Vanessa and Essie in the old version that you can read, which is horrible. But I mean, now I gave her the name Essie, but with an actual cool first name. Apologies to Vanessa Hutchins, I still listen to Sneaker Night on the daily. So, in the old version, Essie just graduated from high school, and on the night of graduation, she goes to a party, but she feels uncomfortable over there, so she heads back home. When suddenly, she's bitten by a vampire. So the next day, her red hair's blue and her skin's green, and she's sore and burning in the sun, and she's like, oh man, hangovers are really bad, huh? But no, you got that wrong. So she runs back home and she dodges her mom, and she looks into the mirror only to find her empty room staring back at her because vampires can't be seen in mirrors. And when her mom comes upstairs, she smells her mom's blood, and suddenly these pinchers pop out of holes in the side of her mouth, which, pinchers? 16-year-old Nico is a fool. Very bad at character design. But, yeah, so she has these pincers, and she has this thought in her head, oh, I gotta kill my mom. So instead of doing that, she's like, that's kinda dumb. I'm just gonna jump out the window. So then she does that. I was not very good at writing stories back then. But yeah, so she jumps out the window to avoid killing her mom, as you do. And she bikes to her best friend's house. This video's order is really weird. But, here's her best friend. Her best friend's name is Rise. And Rise is a big nerdy guy who dropped out of college to develop this video game about a cat motorbike gang. So he's just living the life, and is kind of doing the exact opposite in life as Essie, but they've been best friends since childhood, so that's fine. So Essie goes to Rise and tells him what happens, because, like, he's the only person that she trusts to tell this. And he's like, cool. And she's like, no, it's not cool. So after they argue about whether it's cool or not, and after they talk it out, they come up with this plan where they're going to tell everyone that they're taking a gap year and a road trip together to figure out themselves, which is technically true. But it's also so that Essie could learn how to live as a vampire and test out what vampire myths are real and what are fake. And who knows, maybe find a new passion she can make a career out of, because, yeah, that's kind of messed up. So that's the basics of the story. And I have 2 extra things in this version that I took out of the new version. First off, there's also a struggle with Essie trying to find the queen vampire who changed her to figure out if she could change her back. And she also has nightmares where her heart is exposed outside of her chest and the queen tries to take it. And I took that out because, ew, gross. And the second thing was kind of doofy. So Essie and Rise check into a hotel, but there's only one bed. But, I mean, they see nothing of it and share it anyway, because whatever, we've known each other since childhood, it's fine. Well, they're both hungry before they go to bed, but they've been driving all night, they're more tired than hungry, so they're just like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just go to bed, whatever. Which, it's fine if you do that if you're a person, but if you're a vampire... So, Essie wakes up in the middle of the night to find that she's been sleep drinking Rise's blood, and whoa, he doesn't have a lot left. Your best friend's running on empty. So she freaks out and she carries him to the car and drives around until she somehow finds a witch. It's a plot hole that instead of filling, I just removed out of the story completely. So whatever. So she goes to the witch to try to get her to do something about it. And necromancy's illegal, and it gives a lot of bad luck to the caster and to the castee. So instead, she does a loophole where she turns Rise into both a zombie and a ghost. So he's got a brainless zombie that can interact with the world, and an intelligent ghost that just has to sit there and watch his dumbass zombie self be an idiot while he yells at it. And he could possess his body back for a limited amount of time, but I mean, that's something you kind of need to train up to do. So his way of becoming human again, sentient again, I guess, is to just keep trying to possess himself until he can do it for a very long time, and then you can't even tell that he's a ghost zombie. I don't know, it was weird. But I mean, it's a fun concept and stuff, but it really doesn't fit into the story that I have nowadays. Which, by the way, here's the story nowadays. In the new version, Essie's a college graduate because now that I'm older, I want to write stories about older characters because I feel kind of weird if I'd write something about like a 14-year-old making out with a hot girl or something. So instead, it's a like 23-year-old making out with a hot girl. So in the new version, instead of going to the party, she just tries to go home. Because, like, I don't know why I changed that. That doesn't really, there's no big difference there. But, you know, that doesn't work out. And then the next day, she wakes up behind a Taco Bell, wrapped in a giant hoodie that she does not recognize. She's like, this is not mine. It's cozy, though, and it's very stylish. So, her phone's dead. She's technically dead. She's in someone else's clothes, and she feels like she has a hangover, but she doesn't remember drinking anything. So she heads home, and then, you know, she smells her mom's blood, and suddenly fangs pop out of her face, which, I mean, 20-year-old Nico realizes that pinchers are fucking weird to pop out of your face. So this vampire has fangs, because I'm an innovator. So as he runs upstairs, and she looks at herself in the mirror, and, I mean, she actually sees herself, because the reason that the mirror myth is a thing is because mirrors used to be made of silver, and silvers and vampires don't really get together. But nowadays we just use a fancy kind of glass because that's cheaper. I don't know why I'm just announcing this, but yeah. So she sees her reflection, and she sees that she's pale blue, and that she has giant fangs coming out of her mouth that retract whenever she touches them. And she has 2 bite marks on her neck. And she collapses to the ground. And she's like, oh no! And she cries out, I'm a nursing major! Which should not be her main priority in the moment, but she just realized that she just spent many years and a lot of money for college to get an education in a career that she can no longer physically handle having. Because being a nurse and also desperately wanting to drink blood and also working around blood all the time will get you fired because you will eat all your customers. And that's a little fucked up. So, you know, she pointed her whole life around this job, and now that's all down the drain, so of course she's having a horrible mental breakdown. As you do. So after her breakdown, she charges her phone, and it's flooded with texts. Some are like, congratulations, congrats. Some are her friends looking for her since she vanished that night. And one's an unknown number. And it's from someone named Rise Atkins, who was... You know, that actually sounds like a country singer name, so if there's an actual country singer called Rise Atkins, please don't sue me. Thanks. So she recognizes the name Rise Atkins as someone who was in some of her classes, but she can't connect a face to the name. She just knows that someone was around her named Rise Atkins. Hopefully not a country singer. But yeah, so Rise is asking if she's okay, and so she lies, like a liar. And it's like, yeah, I'm totally fine. Why you asking? And Rise is like, you kind of broke into my house last night? And Ezzy starts to remember what happened that night, specifically that she broke a window and barged into a kitchen, fully nude, covered in blood, so that she can eat hamburger meat that was left out to defrost. And she feels mortified, but Rise keeps texting her like, "Oh man, don't worry about shit like the cost, dude. I totally understand how different life is when you're smashed. But also, like, I'm pretty cool, so if you wanted food, you could have knocked. I'd totally let you in. You seem nice. I'd even cook the meat next time if you want. Unless that's part of the paleo diet you mentioned in class, because I'm gonna be honest, if that's true, it's kind of weird, bro." And Essie's just like, shit, this person I barely know is the only one who knows I'm a vampire, or at least just thinks I'm really weird. And they're the only one I can talk to about this. So they agree to meet up at a diner. And since all the information she has on figuring out who rises is their name in the texts that are extremely chill and casual and misspelled, and keeps calling her bro, but then she gets there, and oh wait, no! Rise is the rich, famous Instagram model she's been thirsting after. And no pun intended. But, very appreciated. Good job, me. You're welcome, me. That was me clapping, because that's a high five to yourself. Anyways, they agree to go on a road trip because, Rise is rich, and has a car, and can do whatever they want. And, you know, Ezzy needs to reevaluate everything that's ever happened to her in her life. And, of course, they slowly, agonizingly fall in love. Because I need that. I just need that, I guess. For all of my characters, they need to slowly fall in love. I don't exactly know where the story's going, but it's more of a right person at the wrong time kind of deal, and I mainly changed the story up so that I can have something to think about when I listen to angsty love songs, because none of the relationships I really have in any of my other stories have any solid problems to the relationship. It's usually just like a force outside messing things up for the people as individuals. Like, usually their relationships grow stronger while their life gets interrupted and messed around with. But this is the first one where it actually strains and messes with the relationship. Because I just love it when people love each other, but I need something to listen to my angsty songs with. So, yeah, there's Revamped. I didn't know if the story was different enough to make a video out of, because I just remembered the pinchers and Rise's entire appearance being the only difference, but I think there were more than that now that I think about it. Yeah, so, but yeah, thank you to my Patreons, Tiny Bastion Art and Cosmic Ghosts. I love you guys very much. Also, I love everyone else too, also very much. Love you, Boost. I'm so tired. I don't know. It's 3 in the afternoon. I'm ready for bed.